Check out this painting I made. Isn't it awesome? You know what the most awesome thing about it is? It's not a painting. If you look at it really closely, you can see that it's actually a photograph that I turned into a painting using this wonderful stuff called gel medium. And I'm going to show you how it's done, and we're going to do it together. Are you excited? For this project, you're going to need 2 photographs, one of which is forwards, the other one is backwards. It's really important that these are printed on a laser printer because this isn't going to work on anything that's an inkjet. On the back of one, you're going to put pencil all over it to create your own carbon paper, and then place it down on top of your canvas board and draw out just the big important shapes. After transferring the drawing, you're going to put a quick coat of gel medium on top of your picture. Make sure that it is the gel medium and not white paint. They look very much the same. Try to get a fairly thick, even coat all over the entire surface of the picture. The better it's covered, the better it's going to transfer. Then stick it in the drying rack and let it dry. Now we're going to need some paint to put underneath of the picture. Make sure after you get your paint that this cabinet is nice and neat and organized, just like it already is. The containers for the water are right above the sink. You can just get one of those out of there. And the brushes are right beside the sink. Now what we're going to do is color block some paint underneath of the picture. You should probably have your forwards one ready to go so that you can see what you're doing. And just kind of add in the different shades in the background. Notice that I'm not concerned with any of the details, and I'm going right behind some of the major things in this picture. So in my picture I have a tree, and I'm not painting the tree at all because the tree is in the photograph. What I'm more concerned with is painting the colors of the sky and the colors of the ground. You can mix and blend your colors as much as you want. They don't have to be realistic colors. You can really have fun with some cool brush strokes in this. So whatever you feel like is fine. So the color block canvas and your photograph that you covered in gel medium should be dry at this stage. And what you're going to do is you're going to add some more gel medium to your palette and then just cover the entire surface of that dry painting with the gel medium. For this step, you need a really thick, wet coat. So now you want to line up your picture so that it's face down on the wet medium, and it needs to be wet. Don't give it any time to dry. And then you want to make sure it's nice and flat. Here I'm using a brayer to push it down so that there's no air bubbles, and I want it to be as adhered to the canvas as I possibly can make it. And you can also go over the edges because sometimes those are areas that get forgotten, and just make sure that all of it's covered and all of it is stuck down as well as possible with that brayer. And then you're going to put it again in the drying rack and let it dry. For this next step, it's incredibly important that this thing is totally dry before you do it. So you're going to soak it with some water and then add some paper towels that are pretty wet to the top and just let it soak for a couple of minutes. You don't want to let it get dry. And then after that, you're going to start peeling off the paper and then very gently rubbing it and getting that paper off of there. Now this process does take a little bit of time, and you do need to be gentle because you can pull off the image. After it's dry, you'll see that sometimes there's a little bit of white paper left behind. So after that, you're just going to take a damp, soft cloth and go over the top of it and just try to get the rest of that remaining paper off. For the next to the last step in this project, you're going to go back again to your gel medium. What gel medium actually is paint that doesn't have any color, it's just transparent. So you're going to use this to kind of dull down your colors a little bit, and you're just going to add some highlight colors to the top of your painting. So you want this to be see-through. You do not want the paint to be opaque. You want it to be a little bit more translucent while you do this, so it looks like it's part of the original image. And you can go through and use whatever colors you like. Again, does not have to be natural colors. You're just sort of enhancing the top of the picture a little bit. The picture that I used wasn't quite big enough to fit at the top and the bottom, so there was a line there, and I decided to add a vignette to sort of make that blend a little bit more. This is totally an optional thing. You don't need to do this. If you wanted to, before you put your picture down, you could tear the edges so it looks a little bit more rustic if you like. But any way that you want to do that is totally fine. The very last step in this process is after the entire painting is dry, you want to go over it one last time with a good coat of gel medium just to make everything kind of blend together and the picture look really great. So there's the finished product. So I hope you had a lot of fun making your photo transfer. When you start the cleanup process, just make your way back to the sink And make sure you take all your things with you. You want to dump out your water and rinse out the cup, and make sure you put it face down in the drying rack. Then you want to really make sure that you're using your hands to get all of the paint out of the brushes, and then put them back in the bin, bristles up. Want to make sure they don't have a bad hair day. Palette goes in the trash. All done.